Well, Senator John McCain expressing dismay this weekend over the editing of some video from a recent town hall. In it, the senator was asked a question about his position on assault weapons by a woman who lost her son in the mass shooting at that Aurora, Colorado movie theater. Here is how one local affiliate aired that exchange, a soundbite that later appeared on MSNBC.
My 24-year-old son, Alex, was murdered in a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado. These assault weapons allow a shooter to fire many rounds without having to reload. These weapons do not belong on our streets.
I can tell you right now, you need some straight talk. That assault weapons ban will not pass the Congress of the United States.
Well, the reason Senator McCain is upset is a big chunk of that exchange that he had with the woman that editors at that independent station and that other cable outlet decided to leave out. Here's the whole thing.
My 24-year-old son, Alex, was murdered in a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado, by a gunman armed with military-style assault weapons. He died a hero, protecting the love of his life from the rapid gunfire. That night, a total of 12 people were violently murdered and over 69 were shot, all in a matter of seconds. These assault weapons allow a shooter to fire many rounds without having to reload and were originally designed for military combat to kill a large number of people very quickly. These weapons do not belong on our streets. Do you, my question is A, do you support the assault weapons ban as proposed by Senator Feinstein? And B, do you support a ban on high-capacity magazines? If not, why not?
Well, first of all, could I say thank you and God bless, and thank you for your service and sacrifice you've made. Our hearts and our prayers go out to you and your family. And we had a town hall meeting yesterday in Tucson, and there were people there who were affected by this terrible tragedy of the shooting there. I met with Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords in my office last week on this issue. As you know, they are becoming understandably great advocates on this issue, and I will continue that conversation. I can tell you right now, you need some straight talk. That assault weapons ban will not pass the Congress of the United States.
And he went on from there at length, trying to say, we will try to come up with ways to prevent this from happening again, increase background checks, closing loopholes, other things like that. I appreciate your opinion. I promise you have my commitment to work with every members of Congress to try to prevent this from happening again, and on and on. Joining me now, Mark Hanna, who's an adjunct professor of media studies at the New School and a former aide to John Kerry and Barack Obama's presidential campaigns, and Lachlan Markay, who's a reporter with the Washington Free Beacon. And so there's no question that the way that independent news station, KTVK, ran that, and the way that cable outlet ran that is misleading and makes John McCain look very insensitive, when in fact he was trying to be sensitive before he delivered his straight talk, and you can argue about whether he should have said that line or not. But your thoughts on how far over the line they went, Lachlan?
Well, I think it's a case of confirmation bias, and I think the real telling aspect of it is maybe not the original edit. You know, they might have been time constrained, but the way it was picked up on by the left, I think shows that, you know, it was reinforcing a preconceived notion of gun rights supporters, that they are, that they simply don't care about the emotional aspect or the personal experiences of people affected by gun violence. And when you show the full clip, that's clearly not the case, but I think you know, the reason that people were reluctant to maybe look into this and search out the full clip was that it reinforced views that they already had. You know, Mark, in defense of KTVK and, for that matter, of Rachel Maddow, it happens sometimes. You know, you pull a clip, in the interest of time, you know, we all wish we had more staff, we wish we could be more complete, and you run a video that is edited inappropriately or it winds up being misleading. What is the obligation once it is realized that you've done that for said reporters?
Well, I think the important thing here is, as you mentioned, Megan, is that you do need to reduce, you do need to excerpt any kind of time you're clipping, any time you're showing some, but not other parts of portrayal. What McCain here did is important to realize. It's important to understand what he's saying, the content of his remarks, telling this woman that she needs some straight talk. Absolutely, he uttered some sympathetic notes, some gracious notes, and was polite to her. That got cut out. There was an editorial decision made by that Phoenix TV station that was somehow not as important as the content and the controversy, some of us on the left think, of McCain telling this woman who had lost her son less than a year ago to gun violence that there is just there's no will in Congress to pass an assault weapons ban. And that's truly unfortunate. What he didn't say is that part of the reason that will doesn't exist is because people like him who have in the past supported assault weapons ban don't think that this is an opportune time for whatever reason, whether or not they've changed their mind,
including
or whether or not they don't
many
think
Senate
that
Democrats, many Senate Democrats. That's the reason we're told right now there's not going to be a success for this thing in the democratically controlled Senate. But Lachlan, I want to ask you now. I mean, Senator McCain's office put out a statement. They were not happy. They said this is an obvious case of selective editing to distort what he said. And by the way, people do deserve to hear his honest opinion about whether this bill that's important to women like this will make it or will not make it. Now, the woman's unhappy. She's apparently expressed disappointment how he handled it, said she was surprised at what she called his indifference, reportedly. But is there an obligation now to go back and correct the record so that the Americans who saw this out at KTVK's audience and in the other audience at least know what he tried to say?
Yeah, I think anybody who aired it in a way that was misleading should go back and inform their viewers or their listeners otherwise. But it's also important to note that the senator is absolutely correct that the assault weapons ban in its current form is not going to pass. And you know, one of the reasons for that is that the Justice Department even acknowledges that it's not going to make a difference. An internal memo that was leaked last week said that this is not going to have an effect on gun violence, a discernible effect. So, you know, I think it needs to get back to the issue of, is this something that is going to help the problem of gun violence? And, you know, the senator's correct that it's not going to pass. And the reason that it's not going to pass is that even its proponents acknowledge that this is not going to solve the problem.
Well, it happened on Thursday. I'm told that they did not correct it on Friday, but here we are Monday. Mark, do you expect quickly an update today?
Sure. No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any admission of guilt or any fault finding here. I think what happened is that Senator McCain made a statement. They edited it down to the essential aspect of what that statement was. And to his credit, Senator McCain has been courageous on several political issues in the past.
I got to run.
This time around, I think he's folding the gun lobby.
Thank you both. We'll be right back.